The last time I flew, I stood in the security line for 38 minutes. My knee gave out somewhere around minute 20, so I leaned against one of those retractable belt posts and let 4 people go around me. At the gate, I watched an airline employee push an empty wheelchair past me. Twice. I never flagged her down. I assumed a wheelchair cost money, and I assumed it was for people worse off than I was. I was wrong on both counts, and it took a friend of mine to tell me so. He's flown twice a year for the last decade to see his son in Portland, and he knows things I didn't. He didn't learn them from an airline website either. He learned them from a gate agent in Denver who took pity on him during a 4-hour delay and explained, quietly, what federal law actually requires airlines to give older passengers. Here's the part nobody says out loud. Almost everything I'm about to tell you isn't a courtesy. It isn't a discount program. It isn't something an airline offers because it's feeling generous. It's federal law, the Air Carrier Access Act, passed in 1986, and the rules that enforce it. Airlines are required to provide these things. They are not required to tell you they exist, and mostly, they don't. 7 of them. Most people your age have never asked for a single one. Number 1. Free assistance from the curb to your seat, and it's not just a wheelchair. Under federal rules, the airline has to get you from the curb, through the terminal, through security, down the jet bridge, and into your seat, at no charge. It also covers your connection, that long walk between concourses that ends more trips than weather does. And it covers the reverse on arrival, seat, jet bridge, baggage claim, curb. You request it when you book, or by calling the airline at least 48 hours before departure. But here's what almost nobody knows. If you never requested it, you can still walk up to the check-in counter and ask on the spot. They have to accommodate you. I paid nothing for the wheelchair I didn't take. It would have cost me nothing to take it. The only money involved is the tip, and the tip is optional. The question isn't whether you really need it. The question is whether standing for 38 minutes is worth your pride. Mine wasn't. Number 2. You can pre-board if you need extra time no matter what you paid. Airlines sell early boarding, real money, $15, $30, sometimes $70. Federal rules also require them to offer pre-boarding to any passenger with a disability who needs additional time to board or to stow something. That includes moving slowly, needing a moment to get settled, not being able to lift a bag into an overhead bin. No documentation, no doctor's note, no proof of anything. You tell the gate agent you need extra time to board and they call you forward before general boarding starts. My friend has never paid for early boarding in his life. He gets on first anyway, finds bin space directly above his own seat instead of 11 rows back, and he's sitting down before the aisle fills up behind him. Number 3. Your mobility device and medical equipment fly free and don't count as bags. Canes, walkers, rollators, wheelchairs, crutches, CPAP machines, portable oxygen concentrators, nebulizers. None of them count toward your carry-on limit. None of them count toward your checked bag allowance. There's no fee for any of them, and the airline can't charge you one. This is the one that quietly costs older travelers the most money, because they don't know it. You bring a CPAP and a carry-on. The gate agent tells you that's 2 bags, so one gets checked for $40. That charge should never have happened. Your CPAP is medical equipment. It rides free, and it rides separate. Same with a rollator. Same with a walker that folds. And if you've already been charged for medical equipment on a past flight, you can go back to the airline and request a refund. Almost nobody does, because almost nobody knew they weren't supposed to be charged in the first place. Number 4. Gate check your walker at the jet bridge and get it back at the jet bridge. This one sounds small. It isn't. If you check a walker at the ticket counter, it vanishes into the baggage system and comes back at baggage claim, which means you walk the entire length of the terminal without it. That's the exact opposite of what you needed. Federal rules let you check an assistive device at the gate instead, right at the jet bridge door, and require that it be returned to you there, at the jet bridge, when you land. Not at baggage claim, not 15 minutes later. At the door of the airplane, as close to the cabin as they can physically get it. The sentence that makes this happen is short. I'd like to gate check this and have it returned at the jet bridge. My friend says it every single time. He's never once been told no. Number 5. Your medications beat the liquid limit and always have. The 3.4-ounce rule is the one everybody knows. Small bottles, 1 quart size bag, everything else goes in checked luggage. Medically necessary liquids are exempt from it. Prescription medication, liquid or gel, insulin and its supplies, saline, liquid nutrition, contact lens solution, ice packs and freezer packs keeping medication cold, baby formula. If you're the grandparent traveling with the grandchild, they can exceed 3.4 ounces. They don't have to fit in the quart bag. Reasonable quantities for your trip are permitted. There's one condition, and skipping it is exactly where people get stopped. You have to declare these items to the officer at the start of screening and separate them from the rest of your carry-on. Declare them, and they get additional screening and go right through with you. Bury them in your bag and stay quiet, and they get pulled and questioned. So the choice is saying 11 words at the front of the line, or risking a week of your medication at the back of it. Number 6. TSA Cares will assign you an actual human before you ever leave home. Most people have never heard of this, and I think it's the most useful thing on this entire list. TSA Cares is a helpline for travelers with a disability, a medical condition, or anyone who needs extra help getting through security. Call at least 72 hours before your flight, and they can arrange for a passenger support specialist to meet you at the checkpoint and walk you through screening personally. Not a phone tree. A person waiting for you. Who knows you're coming? It exists for travelers with a pacemaker who can't go through the scanner. The one with a hip replacement who sets off the metal detector every single time. The one with dementia who can't be separated from a spouse. The one who simply can't stand in a long line anymore. My knee would have qualified me. So would the hip I've had since 2019. I just didn't know to call. Number 7. Every airline must have a complaint resolution official at every airport. Nobody knows this one, and it's the one with teeth. Federal rules require every airline to have a complaint resolution official, a CRO, available at every airport it serves during all hours of operation, in person or by phone. That's a specially trained employee with the authority to resolve disability-related problems on the spot. A CRO can overrule a gate agent. When the wheelchair you requested never shows up. When your walker gets sent to baggage claim after they promised you the jet bridge. When someone insists your oxygen concentrator counts as a carry-on. The sentence that changes the entire conversation is this: I'd like to speak with the complaint resolution official. Most gate agents have heard that maybe twice in their careers. It's a legal request. They have to honor it. One more secret. Your son or daughter can often get through security without a ticket. Airlines can issue an escort pass, sometimes called a gate pass, to someone accompanying an elderly passenger. You get it at the check-in counter, it's at the airline's discretion, and it means your family can walk you all the way to your seat instead of saying goodbye at the curb. It's not guaranteed. It's also almost never offered. You have to ask. 7 things. Not one of them is a favor. Not one requires proof, paperwork, or a diagnosis. Every one of them is written into federal law, and every one of them stays invisible until somebody asks. I flew again in June. I asked at the counter that time, Somebody met me at the curb, and I was in my seat before the boarding announcement finished. The airlines aren't hiding any of this from you. They're just not volunteering. There's a difference, and that difference costs people our age money, time, and dignity every single day. Now you know. What you do with it before your next flight is your decision to make.